right off the bat was this whole idea that comprehensive coverage can sometimes actually be cheaper than third party.
Yeah.
How does that even make sense?
It's counterintuitive, right? But you got to think about it. When you go for that comprehensive cover, you're usually someone who's a bit more concerned about protecting your own car. And, that often translates into safer driving habits.
Gotcha. So it's like sending a signal.
Exactly. A good signal to the insurers that you're a lower risk.
So it's all about the signals we're sending. And speaking of good signals, what about this whole thing of shopping around every year at renewal time?
Oh, that's crucial. Loyalty doesn't really get you very far in the car insurance world, It's all about those new customers. Those are the ones that get the best deals.
Right. So like every year, it's a fresh start.
Exactly.
It's like an annual insurance shopping spree.
I like that, an insurance shopping spree.
And, we've got these great comparison websites. You've got your Go Compares, your Money Supermarkets, your Compare the Markets. But also, I think sometimes people forget about those smaller companies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They can have some real hidden gems when it comes to pricing.
You got to cast a wide net, explore all the options.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about this thing called voluntary excess. It sounds a bit technical, but I think it's actually a pretty straightforward way to potentially save some money.
It is, yeah. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a young driver. You've got your first car, probably a pretty pricey one, getting comprehensive cover with, say, a 500-pound voluntary excess. Might actually work out cheaper than just basic third-party cover because you're showing the insurer, look, I'm serious about protecting this car.
Wow, so you're kind of taking on a bit more risk yourself in exchange for that lower premium.
Precisely. It's like a deductible, Say you have a little fender bender, cause 1,000 pounds worth of damage. With the 250 pounds excess, you pay that first 250 pounds and the insurer covers the rest. But bump that excess up to 500 pounds, your upfront cost is higher, but you're likely to see savings on your overall premium.
Right, so it's about finding that sweet spot. But of course, you've got to make sure that you could actually afford that higher excess if something does happen.
Absolutely. You don't want to be caught short.
Definitely not. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about mileage.
Right.
Cutting down on those miles, I'm guessing that's good for the wallet and for the planet.
It is. It's a win-win.
Yep.
So think about it. If you normally drive, say, 10,000 miles a year, but you start walking, cycling, taking public transport for those shorter trips, you could knock off, say, 2,000 miles. And that could easily translate into a 10% reduction in your premium.
Wow, that's significant. And yeah, it's good for the environment too, so double win.
Definitely.
All right, on to car security. Time to turn those cars into Fort Knox.
Yeah, well, maybe not quite Fort Knox. But the more secure your car is, the less attractive it is to thieves.
Yeah.
The lower the risk for the insurer, and ultimately, the lower your premium could be.
So I'm guessing things like parking in a garage,
Oh, yeah.
private driveway,
Huge difference.
all those fancy alarms and immobilizers.
All of that helps.
And what about dash cams? They're not just for capturing those crazy road rage incidents anymore, are they?
No, they're not. In fact, some insurers will actually give you a discount for having a dash cam, especially the ones that record both front and rear views, because it's all about the evidence, right?
Right, so it's like having an extra set of eyes on the road.
Absolutely.
Okay, are you ready for this one? Credit scores. They apparently play a role in UK car insurance.
They do. It might seem strange. But in the UK, insurers can actually take your credit score into account when they're calculating your premium.
Wow, so it's not just about your driving history.
No, it's about your financial history, too.
So it's like building a good reputation, not just with banks, but with insurance companies as well.
Exactly. So paying those bills on time, keeping your credit card balances in check, all of that can actually help you in the long run with your car insurance.
It's like a financial fitness regime.
It is. For your credit score.
For your credit score, exactly. Okay, let's talk about this black box insurance. I've heard so much about it. Is it as scary as it sounds?
Well, it's called telematics. And it's becoming really popular, especially for younger drivers. So basically, it's a little device in your car, or sometimes even just an app on your phone that's monitoring your driving.
Okay, so it's watching everything I do.
It's not really about spying. It's about collecting data,
Yeah.
your speed, your braking, even what times of day you're driving. And if you're a safe and responsible driver, all that data can translate into some pretty big discounts on your premium.
I see. So it's especially good for younger drivers then.
Especially, yeah, because they often get hit with those really high premiums just because of their age.
Right. So this is a chance to prove they're actually a good driver.
Exactly. It gives them a chance to shine.
All right. Let's talk about something that might be a bit of a dilemma for people who love to personalize their cars. car modification.
Ah, yes, the pimp-I-ride dilemma.
Exactly. So I have a feeling those dreams of a tricked-out car might clash with those dreams of lower insurance premiums.
They often do. Even small things like tinted windows, alloy wheels, performance upgrades can actually increase your premium.
Really?
Yeah, they make your car more attractive to thieves and potentially increase the risk of an accident.
Right. So it's all about risk for the insurer.
It is. And remember, it's crucial to declare any modifications to your insurer, even something as small as changing your stereo.
Okay, so honesty is the best policy here.
Always, always.
Now, what about adding a named driver? Can that help lower the cost of insurance?
It can be a bit of a double-edged sword. So let's say you're a young driver and you add your parent, who's got a squeaky clean driving record. As a named driver, that could potentially lower the overall cost.
Right, so you're kind of using their good driving history.
Exactly. But here's the big caveat. The main driver has to be the person who actually does the majority of the driving.
Oh, okay, so no trying to trick the system.
No. That's called fronting, and it's illegal.
Right, so no fronting. All right, let's talk about how we pay for car insurance. Is there a best way to do it?
Well, those monthly payments might seem tempting, but they often end up costing you more in the long run because of those pesky interest charges.
So paying annually in one lump sum?
Yeah, if you can swing it, that's usually the savvier option.
But of course, that's not feasible for everyone.
No, it depends on your budget.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about those drivers who are all about improving their skills. Advanced driving courses, are they? Are they just for people who want to be race car drivers?
No, not at all, haha. There are some great programs out there, like Pass Plus, which goes beyond the basic driving test. Things like motorway driving, night driving, challenging weather conditions.
So it's all about taking your skills to the next level.
Exactly. And the best part is, a lot of insurers will actually give you a discount for completing one of those courses.
Really?
Yeah, because it shows them that you're serious about being a safe driver.
So it's like an investment in yourself that can actually pay off.
It is an investment in your skills and potentially your wallet.
Okay, now for a bit of a reality check.
All right.
Car size.
Yes.
Does it really matter when it comes to car insurance?
It does. Those smaller, less powerful cars, they tend to be a lot more budget-friendly when it comes to insurance. In the UK, you've got these things called insurance groups. And the lower the group, the lower the risk. And therefore, the lower the premium.
So if you're shopping for a new car, it's worth doing your research on those insurance groups.
Absolutely. Before you fall in love with a car that's going to cost you a fortune to insure.
Yeah, you don't want to be surprised by that.
No.
All right, let's end with the golden rule of car insurance.
The golden rule.
Drive safe.
Haha. Yes. It might seem obvious, but it really is the most effective way to keep those costs down in the long run.
So every year that you're claim-free.
Another point on that no claims bonus.
It's like a reward for good behavior.
Exactly. So drive defensively. Be aware of your surroundings, follow the rules of the road, not just to protect yourself and others, but also to build up that nice no claims history.
Makes sense. All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground already, but we're not done yet. Stay tuned for part 2 of our car insurance deep dive. We've got even more tips and strategies to uncover.
We do, coming right up. Welcome back to our car insurance deep dive.
Okay, so we've talked about comprehensive cover, but I feel like there's always more to the story.
Yeah, there are some nuances there. Things like windscreen cover, personal accident cover, those can add a bit to your premium, but they give you that extra protection.
Right, it's like customizing your coverage.
It is, tailoring it to your needs.
All right, now this one surprised me. Our jobs. They can actually affect our car insurance premiums.
They can, yeah, insurers love their data, and they use it to assess risk, so.
Yeah.
If you've got a job that involves a lot of driving, like a delivery driver, you're statistically more likely to make a claim.
That makes sense. So what about someone who, say, works from home, only uses their car for, like, the occasional trip to the supermarket?
They're going to be seen as lower risk, definitely. Less time on the road, less chance of an accident.
Right, so it's all connected. Speaking of location, I've always heard that where you live can make a big difference to your car insurance costs.
It's true. Your postcode can tell insurers a lot about the level of risk. Crime rates, traffic congestion, even how many other cars are in your area.
So living in a busy city center is going to cost more than a quiet village.
Generally, yes. More cars, more potential for accidents.
Makes sense. Okay, this one seems a bit strange to me. Marital status?
Oh, yeah.
Can that actually affect your car insurance?
It can,
Yeah.
statistically speaking. Married drivers tend to have fewer accidents and make fewer claims.
So it's like a responsible adult discount.
You could say
All right, what about classic cars? Is insuring a vintage beauty a whole different story?
it is. You're going to need specialist insurance for a classic car.
So I can't just use one of those comparison websites.
Probably not. You'll need to find an insurer who specializes in classic cars. They understand the unique risks, the value of those vehicles.
Right, so it's a bit more niche.
Definitely.
Okay, let's talk about electric cars. Are there any special considerations when it comes to insuring those?
Yeah, electric cars are becoming more and more popular, which is great for the environment. But they do present some challenges for insurers.
Like what?
Well, the technology is still relatively new, so repairs can be quite expensive.
I see, so higher repair costs, maybe higher premiums?
Potentially. But a lot of insurers are offering discounts for electric cars to encourage people to make the switch.
So it's kind of a balancing act.
It is, between those high repair costs and those green incentives.
Makes sense. Okay, what about those drivers who might be considered higher risk? Maybe they've had some accidents or convictions in the past. Are there any options for them?
Absolutely. There are specialist insurers out there who cater to drivers who don't fit that perfect driver profile.
So it's not a dead end if you've made some mistakes in the past.
Not at all. These specialists can help you find a policy that works for you.
That's good to know. Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the future of car insurance. Technology is changing everything, so I'm guessing it's having an impact on insurance as well.
Oh yeah, big time. We're seeing a lot of innovation, especially when it comes to using tech to personalize premiums and make the whole claims process smoother.
So we've talked about telematics, but are there any other cool tech advancements on the horizon?
Definitely. AI is starting to play a bigger role. Imagine an AI system that's analyzing tons of data, your driving record, your car's details, even your social media activity, to build a really accurate risk profile.
Wow, so it's like a supercomputer predicting your insurance future.
Kind of. Yeah, it's all about using data to make more informed decisions.
Okay, let's talk about the thing a bit less exciting. The rising cost of car insurance. It feels like those premiums are always going up.
I know, it's frustrating. There are a few factors at play. One of the biggest is the rising cost of repairs. Cars are getting more and more complex, so when they do need fixing, it costs more.
Right, more technology, more expensive parts.
Exactly. And then you've got the fact that there are just more cars on the road, which means more accidents, more claims.
So it's a combination of factors.
It is, unfortunately.
Okay, let's talk about car insurance scams. I feel like there are always stories in the news about people trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, it's a real problem. There are all sorts of scams out there. Staged accidents, inflated claims, even fake reports of stolen cars.
It sounds crazy. How can we protect ourselves from becoming victims of these scams?
The best defense is awareness. Be wary of anyone who contacts you out of the blue with amazing deals. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Right, so no falling for those too good to be true offers.
Exactly. And be careful at accident scenes. Scammers sometimes target people who are stressed and confused. Never admit fault or sign anything without speaking to your insurer first.
Okay, that's good advice. Now let's talk about younger drivers. They always get hit with those high premiums. Are there any strategies they can use to make insurance a bit more affordable?
Absolutely. The key is to be proactive. As soon as they get their license, consider taking an advanced driving course. Like Pass Plus, it can really help lower those premiums.
So it's like a head start on building a good driving record.
Exactly. And when it comes to choosing a car, opt for something smaller, less powerful. Those are going to be much cheaper to insure.
Okay, so hold off on the sports car for a few years.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
What about adding a named driver? Is that ever a good strategy for younger drivers?
It can be, if it's done honestly and legitimately. Adding an experienced parent or guardian with a clean driving record can sometimes balance out that lack of experience.
Right, so it's all about finding those legitimate ways to save.
Absolutely. And of course, always shop around, compare quotes from different insurers.
Those comparison websites are our friends.
They are. Use them.
Now, what about buying a used car? Is there any way to check a vehicle's insurance history before you buy it?
There is. You can get a vehicle history report from a company like HPI or Experian.
Okay, and what kind of information will that tell me?
It'll give you details of any previous insurance claims, the car's mileage history, whether it's been stolen or written off, even how many previous owners it's had.
Wow, so it's like a background check for the car.
It is. It can really help you avoid any nasty surprises.
That's a great tip. Okay, let's talk about managing your car insurance online. I'm all about making things easier.
Me too. And luckily, most insurers have really good online portals these days. You can access your documents, make changes to your policy, even track claims, all online.
That's so convenient.
It is, and it gives you more control over your policy.
Now, with so many different car insurance policies out there, how do you even begin to choose the right one?
It can be overwhelming, but the first step is to figure out what level of cover you need.
Okay, remind me what the options are.
You've got third-party only, which is the minimum legal requirement. Then there's third-party fire and theft, which adds cover for, well, fire and theft. And then you've got comprehensive, which offers the most protection.
Right, so it's about finding the right balance between coverage and cost.
Exactly. Think about your circumstances, what level of risk you're comfortable with.
What else should we consider?
Your voluntary excess, a higher excess, can lower your premium. But you need to make sure you can afford it if you do make a claim.
Okay, what about the insurer themselves? Any red flags we should be looking out for?
Do your research, choose a company with a good reputation for paying claims fairly, read reviews, check their financial stability.
Okay, so it's like choosing a financial partner.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Driverless cars. What's going to happen to car insurance in a world of driverless cars? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Driverless cars are designed to be safer, but accidents can still happen.
So insurance is still going to be important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it might look a bit different. We could see a shift away from insuring individual drivers to insuring the manufacturers of those driverless cars or the companies that develop the software.
Wow, so it's a whole new landscape.
It is. The future of car insurance is going to be very interesting.
Okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a second. Car maintenance. Does that play a role in keeping our insurance costs down?
Absolutely. A well-maintained car is less likely to break down, less likely to be in an accident, which means fewer claims.
So it's like preventative medicine for my car.
Exactly. Regular servicing, oil changes, tire checks, all of that helps.
Okay, now what if I'm buying a new car? Is there any way to factor in insurance costs before I make a decision?
Definitely. Remember those insurance group ratings? They're your best friend when car shopping. Check the insurance group for any car you're considering. It'll give you a good idea of how much it's going to cost to insure.
Right, so look beyond the sticker price.
Exactly. Think about those long-term costs.
Now, for those car enthusiasts out there, modifying your car, can you do that without voiding your insurance?
You can, but you need to be careful. Always, always inform your insurer about any modifications you make, even if they seem small.
So no sneaking in a spoiler without telling them.
Haha. No, honesty is key. Some modifications are seen as positive, like parking sensors or dash cams, because they improve safety.
But things like performance upgrades, those are probably frowned upon.
They are, yeah. They increase the risk of accidents.
Okay, what about driving in Europe? Does our UK car insurance automatically cover us for that?
Your standard policy might offer some limited cover, but it's really important to check the details. You might need to get additional coverage, like a European breakdown policy.
So it's worth doing your homework before you hit the road.
Definitely. The rules can vary between countries.
Okay, one last thing. Hybrid and electric cars. Is insuring those vehicles any different?
It can be. As we talked about earlier, those high-tech components can mean more expensive repairs. But the good news is that more and more insurers are offering discounts to encourage people to choose those greener options.
So it's a win-win for the environment and your wallet.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, I think we've covered just about everything. We've talked about choosing the right policy, managing your insurance online, even the future of car insurance.
It's been a comprehensive deep dive.
It has, and I feel like I've learned so much. But we're not quite done yet. Stay tuned for part 3. We've got even more car insurance wisdom to share.
We do. Coming right up.
All right, we're back for the final part of our car insurance deep dive.
Ready to wrap things up.
I am. I feel like we've covered so much ground already, but I'm sure there are still some nuggets of wisdom left to uncover.
Oh, definitely. We've got more to talk about.
Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. We were talking about all the changes happening in the car world, especially with these new hybrid and electric vehicles. Is insuring one of those a completely different experience?
It can be, yeah. I mean, we talked about those high-tech components.
Right.
They can mean more expensive repairs, which can sometimes lead to higher premiums.
Right.
But the good news is a lot of insurers are now offering discounts for hybrid and electric cars.
So they're recognizing that they're more eco-friendly?
They are, and they want to encourage people to make the switch.
That's great. So it's a win-win for the environment and your wallet.
Exactly.
Okay, what about those advanced safety features we're seeing in more and more cars? Things like automatic emergency braking, lane departure warnings.
Oh, yeah, those are becoming really common.
Do those have any impact on our insurance premiums?
They can, yeah. Insurers love those features because anything that can help prevent an accident or reduce the severity of an accident is a good thing in their eyes.
So it's like having an extra layer of protection. And it might even save you some money on your insurance.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about those big life events that can sometimes throw things off kilter. Getting married, having kids, moving house.
Oh, yeah, those can definitely have an impact.
Can they really affect our car insurance premiums?
They can, because they often mean changes to your driving habits and risk profile.
Right, so it's not just about the car, it's about our lives.
Exactly. So, for example, getting married or having kids, that can sometimes lead to lower premiums.
Really?
Yeah, because insurers might see those as signs of increased stability.
Okay, so it's like a family discount.
Uh-huh. You can think of it that way.
What about moving house?
That can also affect your premiums, even if you keep the same car. Your new postcode might mean a higher or lower risk, depending on the area.
Right, so it's like a whole new risk assessment every time you move?
It is, and don't forget about job changes. Some jobs are considered higher risk, and that can affect your premiums too.
Okay, so keep your insurer in the loop about any big life changes.
Definitely. The more information they have, the better.
Now let's talk about something no one really enjoys. Dealing with insurance paperwork and admin.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Any tips for making that whole process a bit less painful?
Well, first of all, use those comparison websites. They can save you so much time and hassle when you're shopping for insurance.
Definitely, they're lifesavers.
And once you've got your policy, keep your documents organized. Have everything in one place so you can easily find it if you need it.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, once you've found that perfect policy, how can you make sure you're really getting the most out of it?
Well, the first thing is, read those policy documents carefully. I know it's tempting to just skim through them,
The guilty as charged.
but it's really important to understand what's covered and what's not covered.
Okay, no more skimming for me.
And keep your insurer informed about any changes to your circumstances, like your address, your mileage, any modifications you make to your car.
Right, so be proactive and stay on top of things.
Ex-
And if you do need to make a claim, report it as soon as possible.
And provide all the necessary information promptly. The smoother the claims process, the better for everyone.
All right, well, I think we've come to the end of our car insurance deep dive. We've explored everything from choosing the right policy to understanding how those premiums are calculated to keeping our cars safe and secure.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, and I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. It's been a great conversation.
It has, and I hope our listeners feel more confident about navigating the world of UK car insurance.
That's the goal.
Absolutely. So remember, be proactive, be informed, and don't be afraid to shop around for the best deals.
And most importantly, drive safely out there.
Couldn't agree more. That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.